Hi educators, it's Dr. Lobengeyer from Topeka Public Schools. Did you know that you can translate over 100 languages using Google Translate? Today I'm going to do my best to explain how to set up the Google Translate extension for Chrome and also show you how I use it to prepare lessons for English learners. The setup is a little bit different than you would do for yourself, and I'll explain that in the next part. And I'm going to use the Spanish language translations because most of my English learners speak Spanish as a first language. For me, the cool thing about Google Translate extension is that I can translate words and phrases quickly without having to open up the Google Translate in another tab or window. In today's lesson, I'm going to do 4 things. First, I'm going to show you how to install Google Translate into your Chrome browser. Then I'm going to help you set up your default language for translation. Third, I'm going to use the Google Translate extension to translate some different text. And finally, I'm going to show you how to work with the pop-ups to save you some time. So the first thing we need to do is go to the Google Chrome Web Store. And when we get here, we can add an extension. So in here, I'm going to type Google Translate. Oh, it already finished it for me. And I'm going to add it to Chrome. So next, now that it's added to Chrome, I need to set up the default language. The other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to move it over here so it's a little easier for me to find. So I can left click and hit extension options, or I can right click and go to options. It's going to take you to the same window. The default is English, but that's not going to help us because if I translate English documents into English, it doesn't change anything. So what I need to do is change the primary language. In this case, as I said, I'm going to use Spanish as my primary language. Now, make sure you save this because if you don't hit save, it doesn't remember. Good, so now we have that saved. So now we've changed it to Spanish as our primary language. And then what kind of things we can do with it, there's 3 different options. First, we can select a portion of a document or web page and have it translated. So this is my Google Classroom. So let's say I wanted to translate this line to Spanish. I can come up here, click on Google Translate, and it does it for me. So here's the Spanish translation. The next thing that I can do, is translate a whole web page. So if we go back to this one and I want to translate the whole page, I can left click up here and say translate this page. And you'll see, since my default is Spanish, it translated the whole page into Spanish. Now I could change this to any language, Chinese. And your students could learn to do this for web pages and put things in their first language. If I want to get rid of this altogether, I can just hit the close button and it'll close it for me. The final thing that I can do is, if I did want to use the full Google Translate, I could come in here. This is the page we set up for the English learners for Topeka Public Schools during the COVID-19, and select some text. Again, come up here. It's already done the translation of what I said, but I can open it in Google Translate. And one reason I would want to do this is then I can listen to it. I can copy it. I can edit the suggestion. So if there's something I feel needs to be changed in here, I can do that here. The other thing is I could do different languages. So if I wanted in Arabic, this is what it would look like. So the next thing we're going to talk about are the Google Translate pop-ups. So again, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go to options. And there's 3 options. First, display the icon that I can click to show the pop-up. Second, it would be immediate display of pop-up. And the third is don't display icon or pop-up. So right now we'll have them display the icon or pop-up. We'll save that. I'll refresh my page just so it knows that I'm going to treat things a little bit differently. Now when I select a text, it gives me this little box here, the little symbol of the translate, and I can click on it. So it's really a two-step process. I find what I want to translate, and then I click the pop-up. So I can close that. The next thing we can do is immediate pop-up. So for this one, when we change the options, we can change it to immediate pop-up. So this is what I was saying. It'll save you a lot of time. If you have a lot of things to translate and you switch it to this, then it does it automatically. So it's a one-step process. So I'm saving that. We'll open this page. Oh, whoops, I forgot to refresh it since we changed the settings. And now, when it wasn't done yet, it does an automatic pop-up. So there's the English and there's the Spanish. So that'll save you time. And again, you can just click on this and copy and paste into whatever document you might have. The final one, and this is where I have the settings most of the time, unless I'm working on a page, is don't display icon of pop-up. And this makes it a two-step process. So let's go back here, refresh, my new option. In this case, I'm going to highlight a text. And then I have to, so that's step one. Step two is I have to come up here and click on this, and then it'll do the translation for me. So it takes a little bit longer, and you got to do more scrolling to get to this. But it also means that if you're doing other things and you highlight it, it doesn't automatically pop up the icon or the translation. That was that one. So today we worked first on how to install the extension. Second, we set up our default language. Third, we had different ways that we did translations. And finally, we set up how we wanted pop-ups to work and why they work that way. Thank you so much for listening. And if I can help you in any way, just reach out to me. Thank you very much.